Excellent. Okay. Thanks very much, Rob. So as Rob said, my name is Chris Burdge. I have my own marketing consulting firm called US Interactive. So I first want to thank Rob for inviting me to speak, and I actually want to acknowledge Rob and some of the other folks. I know Nevin helped out, and there's probably a bunch of others, but I think this is a great thing that he's done, not only for social media, but of course for the BC Cancer Foundation and Cops for Cancer. So I think a round of applause for It's a funny thing about social media because I've known of Rob for probably over a year, and we followed each other on Twitter and Facebook and here and there. First time I met him was last week at the Festival in person. Although we did do a bit of a drive-by at a triathlon once, but it was the first time we met last week. So, and it's great to see so many people here, and in fact, I think probably 2/3 of you I don't recognize and don't know, which is also great, because usually at these social media events, you start seeing a lot of the same people, so it's great to see so many different people. I'm going to just give about a 10-minute case study, and it's actually kind of two case studies in one. I'm going to talk about Rocky Mountain Soap, and kind of what we've done with them, how we've been working with them. But it's also a case study on US Interactive in accessing a client and how to get a client. So if there's anybody in interactive media or any other kind of business, it's actually a bit of a testament to how to network and get business. And it's a bit unconventional because I'm not going to throw a bunch of numbers at you or bullet points. I'm going to show you a couple of slides and just basically tell a story. If you have any questions or any comments or anything, feel free to jump in. So the idea behind this one is that the proof is in the pudding, as they say. We'll see at the end if you believe me or not. So how many people have heard of Rocky Mountain Soap? Most. How many people have been to the Rocky Mountain Soap location in Watson? Thanks for that. So the people that have heard of it, how many heard of Rocky Mountain Soap through some form of social media? So almost everyone. Okay, I'm done. So I started my business last year in July, and one of the first things I did was I got involved in the Organic Island Festival, which is just about a stone's throw from here at Glendale Gardens. And I put together a team of volunteer live bloggers, and we went around and we talked to some of the exhibitors and talked to some of the attendees, and we blogged the festival. And so I was down walking around in the lower bowl, and there was this wonderful smell, and I was kind of following my nose around it. It was Rocky Mountain Soap, and they had a booth there. So I started to talk to Kazio, who's actually Scott's wife and co-owner of the business, and did a bit of a blog post. And after that, the story goes that Scott's wife gave me a bag of soap and some other stuff as a thank you. And in my travels around the Organic Island Festival, I ended up forgetting it somewhere. And I was going to take it home and do it to my wife. And then I blogged about that too, and Scott was good enough to say, come down to the store and I'll replace it for you and I'll give you another bag of soap. So I mean, there's the beginning of what you need to know about kind of Scott and Rocky Mountain Soap, is that good people, big heart, and willing to just kind of go the extra mile in terms of customer service. So this was a blog post, and I understand from Scott that people started to come into Rocky Mountain and say, oh, I heard about you through this blog post on the Organic Island Festival. And at that time, I think he had just kind of gotten started on Twitter. And were you on Facebook at that time, Scott? So Scott's going to keep you honest here. So that's not Scott. But that is somebody making soap for Rocky Mountain Soap. So just a guy making bubbles was one of the first things that impressed me about Scott, because as you can see, that's part of his the bio on his portfolio there. Just a guy making bubbles for Rocky Mountain Soap. And so right away, I think this is one thing that we can learn about social media, is that, as Rob said, it's not about selling; it's about authenticity. It's blending our personality, and I think that before Scott even probably looked at it strategically, he kind of got what social media is. It's just this kind of self-effacing, not too heavy on the marketing in terms of how we use social media. And you can see he's got almost 1,400 followers. And so he's got a pretty big network of people that he can market to. So I went back and looked through a whole bunch of Scott's most recent tweets to try to find something marketing related. And I had to go back all the way to March 8th to find something. And you can see that he's got quite a few tweets, so I think that was a couple of hundred tweets back I had to go to find a marketing related message. So he hasn't taken my advice because I told him the ratio should be 10 to 1, not 500 to 1. Just in terms of kind of value added tweets to marketing related tweets. But he actually does have another account that is a Rocky Mountain Soap Vic, where they do some more marketing. So they have a couple of different accounts. And everybody familiar with Clout? It's a fairly new thing, but go to clout.com and you can see, if you're on Twitter, you can see what your Clout score is. So Scott's got a pretty good Clout score. And what that tells you is just the level of influence you have on Twitter based on how much you tweet, how much you retweet, how much other people retweet you, and how many replies you've made and so on. And if retweet is a foreign term to you, then please call me. We need to get together later. So Scott already had a number of things in place that he had started to do, and so part of it, the other reason that this is unconventional is that this isn't the best case study for US as a company to be talking about, because in fact, I didn't actually do that much for Scott. He was already doing a lot of the stuff. So I think that's part of the testament to yourselves as well, if you want to get involved in social media, is that it's really not that hard. And if you follow a couple of key things, things that Rob has already pointed out that you can do quite well for yourself. I don't want to put myself out of business, but it's not that hard to do. So that's the blog that Scott has now. And then this is the one that we're developing now and are about to launch. Part of the interesting story with Rocky Mountain Soap is that it's a franchise. And because social media is so new, some of the franchisees still don't really know how to manage the franchises and the process of how they can market themselves and what they can say. Anyone here in that situation, like either a franchisor or franchisee? So there's a couple of kind of hurdles that we've had to go around, and one of them is that, and Scott, you stop me if I'm speaking out of line here, but the companies, the franchisees aren't allowed to have websites, but they can have blogs. So if you know anything about WordPress, I mean, this is WordPress, it's a blog, but you can pretty much make it look like a website too. So what we are doing for Scott, though, is email marketing, and so you can see creatively it's very integrated.